Today, I'm going to talk to you about a very little known Golden Visa program, which actually leads to expedited citizenship in an EU country and has no minimum stay requirements, which sounds really fantastic. At the same time, I will tell you about a residency program in that country. So let's dive in and talk about Slovakia. I'm going to talk to you about two programs. One is their sort of Golden Visa program. Another is sort of the regular visa path that you might take, which happens to be relatively okay in itself if you're just looking for residency. There's actually two ways that you can do that. You can become a sole proprietor, you can form a company, and you deposit money into there, and you run a company. Surprise, surprise. Fairly easy acceptance criteria. Yeah, you have to have a place to stay. You have to actually form the company if you're going to go that route. You need to open a bank account for the company as well as for yourself personally, deposit money. You need to have health insurance, all the normal stuff. The process takes about 90 days to go through in getting approvals. It is noteworthy that, so you need to spend 183 days in the country if you want to be renewed. So you basically can be denied renewal if you don't. And so, not necessarily what people want if they're looking for a Schengen visa, but it is pretty good to be able to have access. And that's great. Now, unfortunately, what does that do? That puts you into the tax system. And the tax system in Slovakia is not great. Now, interestingly, if you form a company, so you're not a sole proprietor, you form a company, then potentially you can not have that minimum stay requirement and still renew, which is pretty great. It's typically a 1-year visa. You renew for 5 years, then you can get permanent residency. And if you go 3 more years, you can get citizenship if you demonstrate Slovakian language, etc. Which, like if you're actually going to integrate, you probably would do that. That's something that one can consider if they want to go for the citizenship. It is a good passport. It's an EU passport. It's quite good. The trade-off is that they don't allow dual citizenship. The next thing is kind of the more interesting one, and that is this, it's not technically called a golden visa, it's called a major investor scheme. And again, it's something that I don't hear anyone talking about. It's one of these kind of things you have to dig up. But this is where you invest money. Now, you're not investing it in real estate like you would in some programs. You have to actually do job creation, some sort of value. There's not a fixed investment amount, but typically it needs to be a higher amount. So definitely more than 250K, typically 500-ish, depending. Obviously, the more you do, the more you invest, etc., the more likely you are to get approved. This is not a fast process. It's typically up to a 2-year process to get this. However, there's a bunch of really good things. No minimum stay requirement. You could, let's just imagine, what is your situation that you would want to do this program? You get a Schengen visa that has no minimum stay requirements. Amazing. It gives an expedited path to citizenship, 1 to 3 years, depending on various factors. It's discretionary, so it's not a fixed thing.